let's just ask the question straight up. Did the College Football Playoff Committee get it right? Testing, 1, 2, 3. Actually, this is not a test. This is, again, welcome to the No Jazz Show. Yes. It is Wednesday, December 10th, 10 o'clock. I am your host, KD. Yes. Yes. Welcome everyone to the not just another sports show, which also stands for No Jazz Show. I am your host, KD. This is a show where we bring you all of the latest sports and entertainment news. And don't forget, there is a possibility we may always hit the refresh button. And you can join us on Hit Refresh TV, and it's going to be live after the football season. So we're going to give you more details on that. We're going to let you know how that works and everything. Before we begin, I just want everyone to know that you can please, if you would, you can follow us live on YouTube at NOJASSSHOW on Facebook. Also, on a couple of platforms on Facebook. It'll be on the Locker Room. It's in No Jazz Show. You can check that link out on our No Jazz Show page. It is also on my page, DUPONTZNIVEK. We're also live on Twitch, live on TikTok. And I do hope that platform is working because we transformed some new things where we don't have to do the old other setup in order to make that happen. Live, I believe we did say live on the page, the Locker Room. And simultaneously, I'm going to introduce my man and always to the right of me, Tank. Tell the people hello, Tank, before I let them know that they can also find that on Russell Tanker's page. Tell the people.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Y'all ready for a great show, I hope? Lot going on.
Now, let me let you know, we about to get into these topics today. And a lot of people been talking about it this week. But what No Jazz Show is going to do is before the next sports week begins with the Thursday night football game in the season, we are going to round out a lot of the topics that have been going on this week and give our version and our assessment of what's been happening in the week of sports and in the week of football. But before we begin, we want to actually acknowledge the people that pay the bills around here. I being one of them, Tank being another. But there's also some other people sponsored by a Light Snack, where you can get all of your food delivery enjoyment, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Make sure you order from LYTESNACK, lightsnack.com. And when you order from lightsnack.com, make sure you order those Magic City wings, where you can get all your French fries, wings, all kinds of sauces that they have. And don't forget their motto. Don't forget to lick the sauce. And also, we have, for all your lingerie needs, it's growing up on Christmas time, birthday, shoot, even Valentine's Day right around the corner when it comes to these holiday seasons. You never be too early and prepared. All those Black Friday deals going on at QUIKVISITS, quickvisits.com. And, hold on, special announcement. We have another sponsor. Morning. Yes, ladies. Make sure you get your virgin Brazilian hair. I'm not going to pull it out of this beautiful bag, but it's a beautiful bag. EIRGIN, virgin Brazilian hair. Best quality hair on the market. Matter of fact, you know what? They did tell me I needed to show it. Hold on, let me see if I can open this bag because the sponsor did tell me I need to show it. Go ahead, Tank. You told me they say make sure it's real. I told them we actually advertising. I mean, we actually on in 4K, 720p and 10. Woo! Hey, I'm telling you, ladies, get that real deal. Hit me in the inbox and let me know what's going on. This is that Virgin Brazilian Hair, our new sponsor. We're gonna actually get you a template Virgin Brazilian Hair and put you on, edit the show, make sure you're in there. But yeah, ladies, don't forget our new sponsor, Virgin Brazilian Hair, for all of your hair needs. I'm gonna have to work on that. Yes,
hair needs, hair upkeep, hair upgrades,
hair upgrades, and all of that.
Switcheroos.
You know, when the plaits lay down. But you know, I watch a lot of Country Wayne on me. Shout out to Country Wayne in his birthday party. Iman Shumpert was on there, like, was rubbing on the girl hair, like, oh, I can't even feel the plaits. So Virgin Brazilian can do that too. Virgin Brazilian can do that too. So yeah, we were just letting you know we got a lot going on. Now, also, before we begin, I just want to let everyone know, you may not know about it, but we know you, man. We all see you mad. And because you are mad, and we're going to tell you what you're mad about in a minute because we know why you're mad. For all of you that are mad, I want you all to join us at 10 a.m. December 20th for the pep rally. Yes, we are having a University of Miami Hurricane pep rally. We want all Hurricane fans, abroad, domestic and abroad. We want you to log on to whatever platform you on, whether it's TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Get on your live because we are having a pep rally for the team starting at 10 a.m. and we're going to make everybody mad before the game at 12 o'clock. Go ahead, Tank.
You must be getting some NIL. You must.
You know what, man? I saw a story about how my beloved quarterback, favorite Cowboys quarterback, Troy Aikman, said he is out of NIL because he gave some NIL money to UCLA and the dude left the next season. So his money went to waste in a sense. So I don't really get into the NIL thing. But if I had anything and it took me to give some NIL to get a player to the University of Miami, who is, by the way, having a nationwide, worldwide pep rally at 10 a.m. because we know you mad. And we're going to tell you why you're mad in a minute. We're going to tell you why you're mad in a minute because we know why you're mad. We understand why you're mad. But anyway, let's get into these topics. And since I'm on this topic, let's just ask the question straight up. Did the College Football Playoff Committee get it right? Tank, I'm going to let you go because I done did a lot of talking.
I know the main thing everyone wants to know is why did Alabama get in with 3 losses and Notre Dame didn't get in with the 2 losses? I can see why Miami got in. I can see why you would put them in over Notre Dame because head-to-head, they lost. Now, with Bama, that's the SEC bias, as some people call it, coming in. Because I don't think that Bama should have gotten in over Notre Dame because of the records. But if you look at strength of schedule, then you might be more inclined to say, well, maybe they should get in. We asked this question last week. Can an FBS school possibly win a national title one day? The real one, the big one. And I said I don't think it's going to happen, but we got the opportunity to see some of these smaller schools who got in. James Madison got in, and also Tulane got in. Tulane and James Madison. Welcome to the party. Or as he said it, or how he said it in Die Hard, welcome to the party, pal. It's gonna be quick and painful. They're gonna both get bounced out in the initial game. But I do want to see what James Madison does. I don't think they can stay on the field longer than 5 minutes with Oregon. But I do think that the CFP got it right for the most part, other than Bama and Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame should have gotten in over Bama. But everybody else who's in, I don't have an issue with it. And I don't even have an issue with the rankings either. So, I mean, I'm good with it. I think the right 10 got in, the right 11 got in because you got 2 at-large bids. Now I do have a suggestion for what they need to do with some other stuff, but I'll say that for a little later. But yeah, I'm fine with who's in with it. So I can even ride with Bama being in. I don't think they should have, but no, you got 12 teams, you got 11 who should be there. Hey, you got one who just slid in, and we know why they got in. So yeah, overall, I'm fine with it.
All right. Let me say my assessment of that. And I'm gonna let Tank have what he had because he did, for the most part, he gave the assessment of all the teams. But we understand what the issue is. We do.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is who it always is. Well, the three teams. This is the issue. The three teams that it's always about. Georgia, who got in organically, and they should. I'm gonna leave them out of this. But there are years they're on the outside. But this year it's Alabama who could have been on the outside looking in. And it's always their fan base and whatever affiliation. Texas may be involved in that a little bit too, but it's always their little power and affiliation with the CFP that is always a question. And when they get in someone who is more deserving, and FSU if they get an injury, UCF if they get an injury, and then next thing you know, boom, Alabama or Georgia sneaks in. And it is always someone left hanging. This year, during I believe about 4 or 5 weeks of doing the CFP polls to see what it would be if it ended today, as they led up to the college conference championship weekend, and we're going to get into that. Notre Dame had a place the whole time, and Miami looked like they would be out on the outside looking in, and a whole lot of Tallahassee and FSU fans were beginning to, get their cheers together to laugh at the fact that you fans for not making it, but I'm not going to get into that just yet. But when the clock struck 12 and they made the announcements, Notre Dame was left out. Now, the question is, of course I believe they got it right. I don't care. I don't care where Miami in the rankings or the seeding at this point. If we're in, they got it right. If we were out, I would be on the other side of this saying how they got it wrong. But I believe in a God that has told me not to complain when things are going your way. So they got it right. Now, in getting it right, we are going to go into who thinks they got it wrong. And I just want to ask this question. What is Notre Dame's, what is their problem? What issue do you have with the CFP? I'm going to tell you what your problem is. Your problem is arrogance. And your problem is a whole lot of historical arrogance that you don't deserve to have anymore. But I'm going to let Tank speak, and then I'm going to go behind Tank. What is Notre Dame's problem, Tank?
From a tactical standpoint, the problem is they compete in the ACC in all sports except for football, where they remain independent. And they think and they feel that if they have less than two losses or less, they should get an automatic bid. And they don't. They shouldn't get an automatic bid because unlike all these other conferences, everybody else is in the conference. They have to play their way in because they have conference championship games. Notre Dame will never win a conference championship because they're not in the conference. So they play one less game than everybody else anyway. I think they're going to have to go ahead and fold and say, hey, we're going to join the conference. And they might as well join the ACC since that's where they compete. Yeah. For football, because that's where all the other sports are. And it doesn't make any sense. They are historically a name brand which stands on its own, but in the relevance of college football in Titletown, they're not relevant that way because they haven't won a national championship since 1988. There's no real historical value for them, for the kids that are coming up to because they haven't seen Notre Dame win a championship. They haven't seen Notre Dame win a conference championship because they're not in the conference. They saw them lose possibly when they played Bama in the national title game and they got blown out, maybe a decade ago. But they don't have any relevance of those guys playing. It's not as if Notre Dame is putting players getting drafted in the first and second round in the league year after year after year, and the league is peppered with Notre Dame fighting Irish.
2 in the last 7 years. Go ahead.
Yeah. Everything that they used to have and used to do is not relevant anymore to this generation of players that are coming to deciding where they want to go to college. If they're deciding on Notre Dame to go to college now, I'm sure their parents are really stressing to them why they should go, as far as historically and also because of the prestige that a Notre Dame degree would have if they graduate. But they aren't what they used to be. That's the bottom line. They're not what they used to be in this market, especially with the NIL and everything else. Hell, we got Indiana ranked #1 in the country now. Where does that happen? You've got Indiana is ahead of Notre Dame in every aspect as far as football.
Best college sports team and best college football team in Indiana right now, in the state of Indiana, Notre Dame. Get it right.
So their problem is they need to go ahead and say, okay, we're going to join. A football team is going to join the conference, and we're going to play ball like everybody else. And instead of we get all this money because we got our own network, NBC network, and all the money comes to us, we don't have to split it with anybody. That's really what it's all about. They don't want to split their football money with the rest of the teams in the conference. But hey, you got to change your way of doing business. If you're not recruiting those caliber players to get you to a national championship and to win one, you got to go ahead and get in bed with the I'm going to say with the rest of the ACC, because that's where your other programs, your other athletic programs in. But that's their problem. They need to join the conference, and they need to step down off their high horse, get in there.
All your food delivery needs, make sure you go to Light Snack. That's LYTE snack.com. And make sure for all your deliveries, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, you visit Light Snack and they'll deliver it right to your door. And make sure when you get those deliveries, make sure you're ordering those Magic City wings. And remember, their motto, don't forget to lick the sauce.
And try to see if they can run roughshod over the ACC. Then they have a true dog in the fight every time it comes up. Every time it's time for the CFP to decide who's going. Because you don't have to win your conference. You can lose the conference game, Bama, and still get in, depending on how good you were. So, yeah, that's Notre Dame's problem. And until they do something about it, they're going to have this kind of thing happen every couple of years because they haven't reached a level now where they are going to be in it every year. So, yeah, they need to humble themselves.
Humble is a very appropriate word for this topic right now, because I'm going to tell you something. Humble yourself, Notre Dame. Bronco Nagurski is not coming out of that tunnel. The Four Horsemen is not coming out of that tunnel. Tim Brown, the Rocket Ishmael, Tony Rice, they're not coming out of that tunnel. You all have a Heisman candidate that they're claiming to be the best running back in college football this year. What is his name? You all don't even have, I know his name, but my point is, you all don't even have the relevance to spark something for his campaign in the manner that Colorado did for Travis Hunter last year, with an award that has no level of relevance in college football today. But that's another topic. My point still is this. Of the top 10 football games aired this year, you have your own channel with NBC. I mean, what's the #1 rated television show? It's not on NBC, is it? See, this ain't Seinfeld and the Cosby era either for NBC. But anyway, my point is this. You know, you all had let me get it right, 4.14 million viewers, and you had a 4.37 million viewers. Great numbers. But guess what? University of Miami had a 6.16 and a 6.23. So when someone wants to argue with you, let me look at that again, because you're going off a brand and you're going off what you think the data should be. You're not as relevant as you should be. Now let's get down to the business of it. Let's get down to the business of it, and that's what Tank was talking about. You have decided to affiliate all of your sports in your university program with a conference, which is the AC. Then take football as its own, I guess, independent entity. Meaning you all can go to the college football playoffs and make all the revenue. All the bowl money goes to the University of Notre Dame, or even the football program, however you all want to distribute the money. Every other college football team has to do that. So when the ACC guy gets in there, he says, well, wait a minute. You mean to tell me you want us to have your back
right
in this vote when we got a team who's sitting right there next to you, And we have the opportunity to say head to head, they did beat y'all. And if we put them in, we get some of that revenue. They're still a higher brand, bigger draw. We get some of that revenue. But if we put you in, crybaby, we get nothing. So you don't think that the business minds in that are going to turn against you at some point. Now, that person in particular, even the University of Miami, please watch out because those Roman Catholics are strong. Other aspects of life. So I might even need to watch my mouth talking about them Roman Catholics. But the point is this: it's that it is their backing that has Notre Dame football thinking you are something that you're not. This year just came to a head, and it was perfect timing that you all got humbled this year. And another thing, stop attempting to use Miami as your scapegoat. Be mad at Alabama. That's who you should be mad at. Be mad at Alabama because they're the ones that really got everybody like, well, we know what we got to do with Alabama, but you're looking at it because you think you think it was a battle between University of Miami and you. No. Your issue was Alabama.
Right. That's the real problem.
That's the real problem.
Bama and the SEC bias.
Bama and the SEC bias. In the SEC. Exactly. So stop with all of that. Another thing from a GDP standpoint that worked against you too was in the state of Indiana, they're still going to make their money because those Indiana football Hoosiers do look like they're going to travel this year. They do look like they're going to go far in the CFP. So the GDP of Indiana is still going to get their revenue because I'm pretty sure some Notre Dame fans who have gotten into the transfer portal and they're Hoosiers right now. They're going to get out and go back in, but they're Hoosiers right now. So stop all the whining, stop all that crying. And once again, there's a pep rally going on starting at 10 a.m. on December 20th because we know you mad we got in. Now, we are about to move on to our next topic. And our next topic of discussion is this big boy. We're going to the NFL. We are going to the NFL, and we want to know what is Kevin Stefanski thinking by pulling Shadur Sanders for the 2-point conversion. And I kind of want to know, did we as fans overthink it? So let me tell you what happened. Unless you've been sleeping under a rock, Shadur had I think it was 3 passing, 1 running in, or 4 touchdowns in 2-game situation, threw for over 300 yards, playing against the number 1 pick at quarterback in Cam Ward. Shameless plug, for Cam. But he showed out.
He gonna slide it in.
He showed up, and he had a fourth quarter comeback to a degree and went down, scored a touchdown that would have led to them tying it with a 2-point conversion. Kevin Stefanski decided that I'm going to pull Shadur and we're going to do a trick play, and it didn't work. At first, I looked at it like, if it would have worked, he would look like a genius. It was like one of those situations. If it worked, he would look like a genius. But when it don't work, all of those questions and allegations against you about Tupac Shadur are going to come out, and it did. So, having said all that, what do you think about what Stefanski was thinking when he pulled Shadur out of the game for that 2-point conversion?
Well, you got the conspiracy theorists, people who say Stefanski is trying to sabotage Shadur, doesn't want him to succeed, and this, that, and the other. So there's that aspect for those people who want to jump on that side of the coin. Also, it does make sense. Hey, why would you pull him when he led you down there? He's got the hot hand. Go ahead and let him run the 2-point conversion. Now, at the same time, against the Raiders, and there was 2 previous games, they've done the same thing, and the plays worked. They've got the 2-point conversion. So if it's worked, so I'm sure Stefanski was thinking it's worked twice before. Why shouldn't it work again? I'm sure that's what his mode of thinking was. It's worked twice before, but only this time, the reason why it's getting the attention that it is because Shadur was actually having a good game, and they were battling. Looks like they could have won the game. That's why it's a big deal, or being made into such a big deal. If it would have happened with someone where they were winning already, or somebody they were getting blown out, nobody would have said a word about it. But because they were in position to look like they could win this game, and because Shadur was finally having an actual good game, now when you pull him out, it's magnified. And everyone who's had this, or they don't want Shadur to win, they're just setting him up for failure. Da 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 da. Now it's a big deal. I think it just goes with what Stefanski was going to do regardless. Because like I said, he's done it in the previous 2 games, and it's worked. Now you just got a rookie running back who basically you got him playing quarterback. Ask him to he didn't option it. He was supposed to option it. He didn't do that at the proper time. The play didn't work. But like you said, had it worked, man, he was a genius. Man, who would have ever thought to pull your hot quarterback out and to put your rookie running back in, let him run in the 2-point conversion? If it worked, he's a genius. If it didn't, he's a dummy. But he's done it previously, the 2 previous games. So I don't think it is as big a deal as people are making it out to be. It's just because the optics look different now because they were actually in the game where they looked like they could win.
Right.
So yeah, but I really and truly don't believe that Stefanski wants Shadur to fail. He might feel as though he was force-fed Shadur, but he's going to be starting the rest of this season. Now, if he goes out and stinks up a game next week, I'm going to give him the same grace, same thing we've been doing since he's been playing. I'm not getting too high over him doing well this week, and I'm not going to be all down or get too low over him if he doesn't have a good game. He's a rookie. He's getting his feet wet. Now, the big thing for me with the Browns is what is their plan, their end game with Shadur if he finishes this season decently. I think somebody's going to be gone because I don't think you're going to, and depending on where they're drafting and who's available at quarterback, they could draft a quarterback next year, or they could say, because right now this is the time for Shadur to say, hey, for him to show, hey, I can be your starter next year. And you got me cheap because I'm a 5th-round pick. So it's going to be interesting. But, yeah, I don't think Stefanski was wrong per se in what he did.
Let's not forget. Well, context of that. Let me begin here with the context. Let me begin here. At the end of the day, the most important thing was the W. You know, we've seen a lot of games where people let the stats, and in this particular thing, I didn't understand it, but the main stat is who had more points on the scoreboard and who had least points. So it's the W, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he was attempting to really get a W, there was a series before that where they scored and they could have kicked the field goal. And so then when they scored this time, if they would have made the PAT, not the field goal, but the point after attempt, ended up being a 2-point conversion, and they missed that one, which put them in a position to have to tie the game.
Points.
They scored with the 2-point conversion. But it would have been tied with a PAT. And you ask yourself, is Stefanski going for the W? And I want to say that Kevin Stefanski was going for something that he wasn't going for the W or the L. He was going for the E. And the E stands for ego. He let his ego get the best of him to the point where when he saw that the game itself could have made Shadur a bigger hero than he wanted him to be, he did this 2-point conversion. Now, look, it was a meaningless game. I did a facetious joke about, you know, the way people were making it like was him pulling Shadur on the same level as Pete Carroll not handing the ball to Beast Mode, you know, for the Super Bowl. And a lot of people are like, no, it's not the same. You know, it's not the same. Of course it's not the same. So why are you all acting like that? It was a meaningless game.
Right.
It was only meaningful to the people, to the parents and the rookies who played in it, you know, and the joy that they had experiencing a little boy's game as an adult. Dream come true. Gotcha. My thing about that is, if you leave, and this is hindsight 2020, this is hindsight, because all you're going to do is tie. If you kick the field goal, or if you leave Shadur in to get the 2-point conversion or not, Kevin Stefanski felt it just seemed like you couldn't live with, man, I called Shadur Sanders a 300-plus yard, 3 TD, 1 running football game. I called it. You allowed yourself to lose that credit by making this story bigger than it needed to be. You allowed yourself to lose that credit. because Shadur wasn't calling them plays. You were. You between you and whoever called the plays and the offensive coordinator, and you all could have said whatever you want to say at the end of the game press conference. But you could have gotten genius credit for that, and you allowed that to slip through your fingers because you weren't going for the W or the L. You were going for the E. And again, that's your ego. And go ahead.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me that you got, and the Browns, they have to enjoy and take whatever all this is going on for them this year and be happy with it, because there's any other time in history since the Bernie Kosar days, there was going to be no talk of the Cleveland Browns on majority of sports talk, be it podcast or mainstream media, talking about Browns, the quarterback situation, and a team that has won 2 games, 3 games.
Yeah.
So they need to take this and enjoy the fact that they're actually getting national publicity out of a 5th round quarterback taking snaps. And the sad thing about this whole Brown situation is really the bright spot, and it's going for all for naught, is somewhat empty calories. It's that you got Myles Garrett 2.5 sacks away from breaking the all-time sack record.
Right.
And that's not getting any pub at all. So, I mean, but the fact that the Browns are actually getting some run in media outside of Cleveland, they need to capitalize on that and be glad and be happy, because there are people who have watched Cleveland play the past couple of weeks who haven't made an effort, a concentrated effort to watch Cleveland play in years. So, I mean, they need to take advantage and be happy with this free pub they're getting, even though they suck.
Absolutely. And like I said, it's unfortunate that this man has people looking, like I said, it was a conspiracy up until last week.
Mm-hmm.
And now make the most of it, because Shadur, next game, my friend, you have an angry bear coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're about to see what's going on. Now we're gonna move forward. I'm gonna get into that because we haven't discussed that. But Tank, do you? And I know I didn't get you a chance to, because we got these very hot topics that we need to discuss. But I'm gonna revert back. But before I get in, I'm gonna do that. Then I'm gonna get back to the NFL. But I'm gonna do the NFL by virtue of the week. So I want to talk about something. And what I'm talking about now is, what has lost its luster more, conference championship games or the Heisman Trophy?
Ooh.
And it's college football.
I think this year with the Heisman Trophy candidates, the 4 finalists, I think it's lost its luster, because I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't even kept up to see who should really be, who I really think is a front runner. It's not, the Heisman isn't, it just doesn't have the same panache as it used to. And maybe because there's so many other things going on in college football, athletics, or maybe it's because, it's so much more going on. I think the conference championship games, they still have their luster depending on which conference. Some conferences you don't care about. Others you do. The SEC you always care about. The Big Ten people will care about. And it depends on who's playing in those games too. Had this been Vanderbilt and in the SEC, had it been Vanderbilt and Auburn, other than those 2 teams' fan bases, nobody would have cared.
Duke of Virginia definitely didn't have any. I don't know what they were going on with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, like Duke of Virginia. Who cared? The only thing that mattered about that game is, hey, just to see James Madison get in, Duke needs to win. But there was nothing. So yeah, I think because there's more conference championship games, they still have a little more luster, because they are going to have some say so in the national championship game. But the Heisman, I don't think it has the same panache. You got to have an outstanding candidate, at least one, who's in the running for the Heisman in order for it to even get any traction. Because last year there was really no traction had not been for Travis. People wouldn't have really been caring about who wins the Heisman. They didn't necessarily want to see who won. They just want to see how Travis did.
Right.
You know, or hey man, let's see history. Let's see a guy who goes both ways legitimately both ways and not just situational, and see what kind of way if he gets it or not. But yeah, the Heisman doesn't have what it used to. Like they do the Heisman, even the Heisman Trophy, the trophy at the Heisman House. I mean, you look at some of the guys who won recently. It's like, man, you don't look at Heisman winners as legends anymore. It's just like the heavyweight champ used to be the baddest man in the world, and you legitimately said, yeah, he's the baddest man walking. And man, it mattered. You wanted to know who the champ was. Now you don't care. You don't really care who wins the Heisman. It's more historical now as opposed to actually meaning something. I won the Heisman. Okay, who you play for?
Yeah.
Win.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Heisman is lost.
Well, you know what? Let me do this. Unless they have a great pro career attached to their Heisman name, and when they won the Heisman, it was kind of a fall off. The Heisman definitely has lost its luster. But Fernando Mendoza of Indiana will be invited to New York. Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt, probably going to win it, will be invited to New York. Julian Sayin of Ohio State, QB, will be invited to New York. And my goodness, I had his name.
Notre Dame's running back. I can't remember his name.
I don't want to do this to him no more.
Well, he ain't playing in the bowl game, so it don't matter.
Right. Oh, shoot, Jeremiah Love.
Yeah,
we're gonna get into that because and I'm glad you said that. They are all the Heisman finalists probably will be invited to New York. Now, I say all that to say I didn't see any one of them like get national coverage, running the table, seeing if they had that signature game. The Heisman Trophy was lost week 1 when Arch Manning
yeah,
didn't do well. The luster depleted. I believe next season, 2026, and I'm willing to put a stamp on this, not just because I'm wearing the colors, but I believe, depending upon how he does in the CFP, and it may not even matter, Malachi Tony will be one of the front runners as a favorite for the branding of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he gets the ball a lot of action with the ball. Probably will be 2025 freshman player of the year this season, and it's just one of those things where if that happens, you may see the Heisman come back. But this season, whoever wins the Heisman, you're probably going to end up on that Heisman House commercial. And they do a little joke about you painting the house or cleaning out the refrigerator or something, because your name is not going to have that level of quality, iconic. Unless that Indiana quarterback runs the table after he wins the Heisman, and he has this.
He's on the one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to give him that. Now, I am going to ask you this because you brought up a point. I believe the conference championship games matter and don't matter. The field is probably going to end up at 16 by next year or the next 2 years.
They don't need to do that. They do not need to do that.
I don't agree. I don't agree with it, but it's probably going to end up happening. And even in doing so, you're going to have teams with coaches and players that are mad and they don't want to play in bowl games. Now, what has affected to you has been the most effect on college bowl games?
Too many bowl games. It's been too many for years, and now Snoop Dogg has a bowl game in Arizona. That tells you how bad these bowls are. My thinking on it is they need to have these conference championships and get rid of all these other bowl games, these poinsettia bowls, and this Church's Fried Chicken Bowl, the Emerald Bowl, all these other bowls. They need to get rid of all of them, and get back to where you have 4 bowl games along with the playoffs. You have 4 outside bowl games standalone for 4 teams or for 8 teams that didn't make the playoffs, and that be it. Because you got all these bowl games used to mean something. They were by invite because you had done well, and they were a reward for having a good season, but you didn't make it to the college championship. You didn't make, but hey, you're gonna play on New Year's Day. It means something. Or you're gonna play a game or two a day or two after New Year's. Not you're gonna be playing on December 15th in the Lysol Bowl. Those aren't bowl games, man. Those are exhibitions.
They're really Lysol Bowl, you just said.
There's gonna be one.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, they come up with one. But I mean, it's too many.
No Jazz
you got
Show.
teams. Yeah, you had teams going at 5-7. I remember North Texas went at 5-7. What are you rewarding somebody for being below 500? And you come, oh well, the school gives $100,000. No, you need to have those 4 bowl games outside of the playoff series, and that be it. Because and everybody else, you didn't play well enough to get invited. Look, try again next year.
Okay.
And there's no exclusivity. It's like, oh man, we bowl eligible. That's what everybody's paying for. We bowl eligible. We won 6 games. We can go to a bowl game. That's not a bowl game. That's an extra week. That's an extra week of practice and an extra game you playing. That means nothing. Well, we can finish. If we win this bowl game, we'll be 7-6 and we'll be ranked 40th in the country. I wouldn't want to go to. I wouldn't. Me personally, unless I've never been to a bowl in my college career, and now we get to go to the one right down the street where they're gonna give up a swag bag that's got some peanuts in it. I'm not gung ho on going to a bowl game, and to be honest, I am glad some of these schools have said, hey, find us $500,000, but we're not playing in the bowl game. And hopefully there'll be more of this, and hopefully there'll be some backlash, and they'll start saying, yeah, man, let's go ahead and get rid of some of these bowl games. Because it doesn't matter. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
I'm going to tell you this, personally. I believe everything is like atoms. You know what I'm saying? All these particles that are in our body, they say they have been in this space and they've been in our body. They're just leaving one thing and just transferring to another. Tank is made of billions of atoms that have been here for billions of years. So it just transfers to the next place. And so with that positive reinforcement thinking, here's what I say. All of those irrelevant bowls who have all of those sponsors, and now you have all of these arrogant NIL players and Division I players who don't want to go to these schools. Don't want to go to these bowls because they didn't get into the bowls that matter. I get it, and I understand your opinion about that. So, to all of those sponsors who have those bowls, and you probably have signed those contracts for some years, or you're looking to find someone. Change bowl eligibility, change bowl conferences, change level of play, and allow some of these HBCUs and allow some of these Division IIs and their fan bases to travel to these bowl games and get the I should say experience that the bigger schools get in those bigger bowls. TV, keep the same contract. If you're going to air the bowl, air the bowl. Now, I'm going to say this too. Don't allow a school that wants to play to go play a school that you're going to dominate, keep the playing field at least equal. But, the SWAC champion, you might get an extra game this year after the championship. And you might not you might win the Heritage Bowl and you go to non-playoff conference bowl, but your school going to get that money. So open the door for them to at least give the bowls, even the irrelevant bowls, an opportunity.
That's what they need to name all of them. The irrelevant bowl 1, irrelevant bowl 2, right. Irrelevant bowl 3.
Because what you're doing is you're allowing players to diminish. Because I personally don't like what Florida State did. I understand what Florida State did. Was that the Orange Bowl?
No, because they weren't going to the Orange Bowl.
They weren't going to the Orange Bowl. They were going to the whenever they play Alabama and they decided not to go, that year Keon Coleman and his crew.
Yeah.
You can't allow the kids to dictate what's been going on for years. So if that kid don't want it and them kids don't want it, they agree not to want it. And then don't make those kids feel like, well, since they didn't want to come, we invited you. Don't do that either. Yeah, you lost 2 games, we're going to send out the paperwork. Soon as you lose 2 games, we're sending out the paperwork to your coach and your AD. Hey, we just letting you know that there's a possibility you're going to get invited to a bowl and you're not going to be in the college football playoffs. Are you going to be available? When you sign on the dotted line, you got to go. If you have said, we're going to be on the bubble and we know how we're going to feel, sign off and say you're not going and we're going to go get somebody that really want to go. That's it. Because you're dictating a tradition. Like the college football playoffs have dictated the tradition already. The games are being played early December into mid-January, which is dictated what the NFL does.
Yeah.
So, that's my take on it. I don't want to lose the bowls to that degree. I just say shift the money. Someone who really
make it like college basketball. When they don't make what is it? The other tournament they had.
The NIT.
Yeah, that it would make it have that kind of format.
Right. Or make
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
You
make it
can
like
take
that.
those bowls and have an NIT level of format and
Yeah,
have them in the playoff. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
wait a minute. Breaking news. That came from No Jazz Show. NOJASSSHOW. Anybody that uses that format, please contact us because we want our royalties. We do that a lot.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
take our idea.
Yeah, and you're not gonna be able to dangle us out the window and talk about that time you got questioned about your royalties in my books. We ain't doing it. We ain't Bird and the Midnight Falcons. We ain't falling for it.
Queen Bird and Midnight Falcon. I don't care. I don't care about your Monday through Friday. We ain't Vanilla Ice and you're not Suge Knight.
Exactly.
Don't try me like that. Now, we are going into the second hour of the No Jazz Show. We want to make sure all of you all know you can watch us on Riverside FM, riverside.fm, live. You can also, please, if you will, follow and subscribe on YouTube at NOJASSSHOW, No Jazz Show. You can also follow us on Instagram at THE, No Jazz Show. Follow us on Facebook at No Jazz Show, X at No Jazz Show, Twitch and TikTok. All my TikTok fans in the chat at No Jazz Show. Now, as we move,
Quick question.
and that's good. I'm glad you got one.
Why do they call it Twitch? Why do they call it Twitch? I mean, I'm just curious. Is it something tied into it, or is that just something they came up with, or does that stand for something?
Man, I honestly don't know, man, and I don't even want to get into the branding of that. I mean, I thought it had something to do with, I don't know, like the video game and everything. Maybe that's what it is. That's a good question. Anybody know in the chat why they call it Twitch? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. Now, we are about to move into our next topic. This past NFL week, from last Thursday to this past Monday night. And I want to talk about this too because this is big news. But top two, NFC East, we have the Patriots.
AFCs.
AFC East, I'm sorry. The Patriots at 11-2, the Bills at 9-4. You know the other two, they don't matter. Now, AFC North, we have your Steelers still at the top at 7-6. The Ravens at 6-7. They don't have the E by their name, but I'm gonna go ahead and say the Bengals at 4-9 and the Browns.
Yeah, they don't count. Yeah,
Now,
Cincinnati's done.
Cincinnati done. All right. Then we got the AFC South, probably the closest one. Is the closest one. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the top, 9-4. Texans 8-5. Colts 8-5, and the Titans at, they don't count, 2-11. Now on to the scroll, please. AFC West. It's a tight one. This is actually a dramatic one.
Yeah.
We have the Broncos at 11-2, Chargers at 9-4. We're gonna talk about that. The Chiefs, who are in the grave, but they got the hands sticking up. They're not out of it yet at 6-7. And of course the Raiders. Lord have mercy. Now on to the National Football Conference. We're going with the NFC East. We're gonna talk about this. Eagles at 8-5, Cowboys at 6-6, Commanders at 3-10.
They out.
NFC North, Packers, it's the tight one, 9-3. Bears 9-4. Lions 8-5. Vikings 5-8. NFC South, it's kind of the Buccaneers 7-6. Panthers 7-6. Falcons,
they out.
They out. And the Saints 3-10. Now those are your conference standings, and you can use that to see what the playoff.
You forgot the NFC West.
Okay, NFC West. I'm so sorry. NFC West. You have the LA Rams at 10-3. Oh, this tight. LA Rams 10-3. Seahawks 10-3. The 49ers at 9-4. And the Cardinals. And I don't even want to hear you say they out because they beat up.
They are out.
They are out. Now, we're gonna begin because I know you, and I know you want to assess your Pittsburgh still.
Glad we won. I'm not overly surprised that we won because, with the exception of last season, we've always had Lamar in the Ravens number. Lamar has had a very bad winning percentage against us. It's more like a losing percentage. So I wasn't surprised that we won. I was surprised, and I was pleasantly surprised that Smith finally listened to me and started throwing the ball downfield and get our money's worth out of DK Metcalf and watching Aaron Rodgers turn the clock back a few years because you saw him moving around outside of the pocket. You saw him even get his discount double check on with the little touchdown scamper. I mean, we got no running game. Defense couldn't stop the run consistently. When old boy broke loose for 56 yards, they kind of got the ball rolling for him to put up 200 yards. You can't win and win consistently in the NFL giving up 200 yards rushing 2 weeks in a row. I thought Lamar had put his cape on, was going to wind up putting his cape on in the fourth quarter, and they almost did. It was a good win because we won, but it wasn't impressive. The defense stepped up when it needed to. There were some calls that people don't like, but there are calls in every game that people don't like. I do think they made the correct call by the letter of the law, but it's almost likely's incompletion fell along the same lines that Dez caught it. It came on, but the letter of the law says he didn't do it. So, hey, that's the way it goes. But they still have a long way to go. And maybe this was the start of something as far as offensively, as far as the passing game. Signing and activating Adam Thielen in the same week and finally bringing up Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Seemed to open DK up a little more and seemed to put some more faith and trust in Aaron Rodgers that he felt that, okay, I can throw downfield now because there's somebody to take away a little coverage or somebody else has to be concerned. You have to be concerned with because those receivers that we had and little Austin. I mean, so yeah, good win. It put us back in the driver's seat, control our own destiny, but we don't want and don't need another one and done. At this point, we just need a playoff win. And depending on who we play, if they make the playoffs, I would prefer to play the Colts. And I'll tell you, I go into that why in a little bit when we talk about the Colts in general. But that's who I would prefer. I'm looking down the road and they're saying if we make it, we would need to play the Colts. Because the rest of the AFC is going to be problems, man. Be problems.
Right. Absolutely.
So yeah, there's really nothing great to say about my team. I'm a fan. I can be a fanatic, but at the same time, I'm a realist and I can be impartial. There's nothing special about our team at this point in time. So, and we have no glaring strengths that you can focus on and say, oh man, this right here, if everything goes right with this aspect of our team, we can cause some problems. We got to play 60 minutes, balls to the wall every game in order to have an opportunity to win because we are devoid of playmakers.
All right. Now, I'm going to talk about it's really going to be me talking about the NFC North, and I'm going to touch on something. But I'm talking about the NFC North because an NFC North team beat my team, the Dallas Cowboys, and the hype ended at 3 games. Couldn't win 4 straight. I didn't expect us to win 4 straight. I had been saying that's a tall order, but I'm going to remain consistent and not talk about losing teams like a lot of people do just for the ratings. And say congratulations to the Detroit Lions for being prepared. You came to the game ready, even though we showed glimpses of stopping the running game. We couldn't stop the passing game. We're still bleeding. Y'all made Deron Bland look like he shouldn't be making all that money, but I'm not going to get into that. Even though we did neutralize the running game, your running game was still effective when you needed it. You know, you still clocked it. You still got kept the ball and the chains moving on 3rd down. So don't want to take anything away from you. You kept yourself in the hunt. Your coach definitely had you more prepared. You came out there and you were playing a physical game with the Cowboys and you took them out of their game, you know. And I'm glad you did that because that was one of the games. Now that we are back into it, I'm going to get into them, back into the talks. I'm getting into them a little later, those Eagles. But the big thing to point out about that game from a Cowboy standpoint is the way George Pickens played. As it was a topic, and I want to discuss it because a lot of people are wondering, was that a glimpse of the real George Pickens? You know, we're going into the next week at this point in time, and I think for me, the slow pace of the game that he supposedly played in, his attitude about catching certain balls, especially CD going down, and I do wish him well. I'm not going to hold that against him until I see it 2 and 3 games straight, because that was a lot. That was a lot that he had gone through the past 3 weeks. And then when you catch a team that want to be physical and they have good tape on you, that's what's going to happen. And sometimes you can just get taken out of the game physically first, and then it works on your mental. That being the real George Pickens pouting, acting like he don't want to play. I think he has too good of a quarterback and consistent quarterback at this time to not get motivated after a bad game. So I'm not going to go there with him until I see it consistently down the line. So I personally don't believe, and I won't read anything into how he played against the Lions. The Lions just came in there to clamp him up, and now you have a glimpse of what would have happened if they had made a run, gotten to the playoffs first round, and in the playoff temperature changed, and you'd have met up with a Dan Campbell who had them ready. You're gonna play that same game. So I'm glad it happened. But I'm not gonna read too much into the old George Pickens or the real George Pickens and what's to come, etc. That's not me. I'm not gonna do that to him. I'm not gonna do it. What do you think about that, Tank?
I think that is something that potential suitors are going to look at, especially if he has another game like that, effort like that, because it gives off the quote of Randy Moss that says, "I play hard. I play when I want to play." I think he was taken out of the game. Mentally, he checked out. And when you're still fighting to try to see if you can get into playoff contention, you can't check out. It's one of those things like, hey, look, your backs are against the wall. Are you gonna fight with us, or are you gonna check out? Or what happened? Or find out, hey, what happened during the course of the game that made you play this way, or that gives the appearance of you playing that way. Because I mean, it could come out later that he had a bad hamstring, or something else. We don't know. It could, that could come out. And it was like, oh, okay, so he wasn't giving half effort because he was out of it. He was giving half effort because the transmission went out. So, you have to look at those things as well. But I don't think it was a good look for someone who had the reputation that he did as far as being lackadaisical at times. I don't think that that's something you'll see out of him this week. I don't think that's something that's going to linger with him, because I do think that he likes playing with Dak. He likes the offense. He likes being involved and getting numerous passes thrown to him. So
Yeah.
we're going to see. So I don't think that it's something to be concerned about, but I do think it's something that you need to, check the temperature and see what it looks like the rest of the season. Yeah. Hey man, you got to get focused again. You losing a little bit. Okay, my bad. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, but it's not something that I would be looking at and saying, okay, that's him. That's who we're gonna really get. Now, if he gets paid, that's what we're gonna get. I wouldn't look at it that way unless it's something that continues through the rest of the season.
And I'm gonna say this too. He might be one of those, when the game plan is set, that's what he's with. And you can't tell him it's about to be this, and then he's ready to turn on the other switch when an injury comes in. Because let's just say hypothetically, and it might not have been, even Amon-Ra St. Brown was hurt and they tested. I'm pretty sure he dressed with the knowledge of knowing we're gonna test you. If all is not well, we're going in the other direction. But you're gonna stay out here. You're gonna stay out here because you give us a better chance for our other receivers to get off. And you could see, I think CD had like 112 yards before he got hurt.
Yeah. So CD had a good game.
He had a good game before he got hurt. So you could see that the concentration was on GP. And if you're gonna concentrate on us like this, our other weapons is gonna kill you. GP might not be one of them dudes. He might say, hey man, don't look for it tonight, because we know where they coming. CD, it's on you. And it was working. And so then, he might not be in that mode. Oh, I gotta switch it up right quick. Wow. I don't know. But that is what he had to do. And mind you, they were losing too. Like they were starting out to have one of them games. And you can't do that, going into the playoffs. And you can't do that when you're trying to make a run and you got to climb up a hill to get to the playoffs. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one. Now, we're going to move on to the Colts because I want to talk about their situation. Definitely acquiring Phillip Rivers. They're meeting the Seahawks this week. Phillip Rivers, 44-year-old retiree. I think he was in his last eligibility for
Yeah,
Hall
he's
of Fame.
eligible for the Hall of Fame this
He
year.
relinquished that to come back.
Yeah.
Do you think that season is over?
I'll say this much. Jonathan Taylor, you need to get ready to run the rock about 30 times a game.
That's tough.
Yeah. I don't think their season is over, because I do think that their defense is gonna step up and help keep them in some games. I think you're gonna see some players step up and say, "Hey, we're more than one man. We're a team. We can still get the job done," because they don't need Rivers to come in and take over. They need him to manage the game and do well, spread the ball around, get them a passing threat, and then let the defense and let the running game do what they do. I am intrigued to see what he does after 5 years off at the age of 44. Now, he's not the last quarterback to have a 4 or 5 year gap in between plays was Steve DeBerg back in 1998 when he came in for the Falcons. He played that one game and he lost. But this isn't unprecedented. What helps, and he said it today, is that he knows the offense. Other than a few things they changed around over the years, but he's run their offense before. He ran it.
Right.
He ran it in San Diego. Yeah, that's how long it's been since he played. They were the San Diego Chargers. But I think that I'm looking forward to seeing it just to see how he does. Like they say, every great fighter has one round left in them. That's what they say. And I think that bows over.
A more round now than one round.
Yeah. I mean, everybody, and I don't even think this is going to translate to Rivers, because he was never the most athletic guy in the first place. So it's not like we're going to be looking at a guy who was quick on his feet, who is now a mere mortal. So he still has that ability. He never had the ability to run or to move his legs. So all that's left right now is his muscle memory and his brain, because their arm, he's been coaching football, and I'm sure he's thrown some passes, but he hasn't been doing all of that. Those licks after 5 years, they take a whole lot more out of you than they did when you just had your off season. So he's had 5 years of sitting on the couch. I think it's interesting that he's coming back, and I think that he's going to give it his all. He's all in. I'm sure he's all in, and he's like, this slight hit refresh. He's like, right. I think he might have told Steichen, it's the coach. He told him, "Hey, yes, I'm all in. I'm ready to play," because like Rocky told Paulie and Balboa, still got some stuff in the basement and some stuff to get out. And I think I can play a few games. So we're gonna see. I think it's interesting. It's gonna be like Bernie Mac in Mr. 3000. He's gonna have some good moments and he's gonna have some bad moments. And his bad moments are gonna be real bad. But once he gets those first 2 or 3 completions under his belt, he might feel like it's like riding a bike. But when you haven't ridden a bike in a long time, after you finish riding, your damn legs hurt for days. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But
let me be the one. Let me be the one. Let me be the one to remind Phillip Rivers of this. You got the Seahawks who in the hunt.
Yeah, and they're good.
Next week after that, you got the 49ers in the hunt.
And they're good.
Next week after that, you got the Jaguars.
And they hungry.
Good team. They got the number 1 defense, number 2 run defense.
They're up there, yeah.
They're up there. And then after that, you got the Texans.
Damn.
Like, did you look at the schedule before you to make this? I don't even know what you call it.
He's doing them a solid. He's doing them a solid. That's all I can say.
Like, are they going to call it the Phillip Rivers Grill? Like, are you coming back to sell a product? Like, I'm like 40 something. Like, I'm trying to understand the reason you come back to that situation. Like, I would have looked at that first. And mind you, let's not forget, this is not Phillip Rivers' first run at having a great running back behind him and not doing anything to get to the playoffs. There
Yeah.
was a guy by the name of LaDainian Tomlinson who said, I got migraines. And that's how much Taylor gonna have to run by the time he gonna have migraines. He gonna have to run so much with Phillip Rivers in there. Like, it's not, I wish him well, but I'm just saying.
If they had one, because Pittman is decent to good, but if they had a great receiver who just needed somebody to give him the ball, I would feel better about it, because it's like, okay, I got this guy, I got a 50-50 ball guy that I can just chunk it up to when I'm in trouble. He doesn't have it. He got some guys that he can try to get it to, but he doesn't have an eraser, and he's a granddad.
And you know what else he doesn't have? He doesn't have at the end of the, I'm telling you, like the Tennessee Titans twice.
Yeah.
You don't even have a tune-up game. That is a tough schedule, man. I don't know.
Yeah. And because they activate him to the active roster this week, that means he's gonna start, because they can't, and the position they're in, because of what the Jaguars are doing and what else is going on in the AFC. They really can't afford to give him a whole week of practice and a game and say, okay, he's not going to play this game. We're going to activate him for next game, because they lose, they're behind the 8 ball. So they're trying to keep pace with the Jags from a record standpoint. So I don't know, but quick thing. I was listening to him today, and Cam Newton said he was kind of offended. He took it as a slap in the face that, they didn't call him. And Cam hasn't been good or effective since he was 29 years old. It's been 4 years. Yeah. His last 4 years, he was ineffective. He was hurt. And the flaws that he had were magnified, because accuracy with the ball has never been his strong suit.
Right.
And the only attribute that he has left now that made him just freakishly different is that he's a big ass human being. He doesn't have the ability to run anymore. We saw that. He looked like he's running quicksand when he was in New England. We don't know if his shoulder is back to knowing what he can fling it, because we haven't heard anything about him ever having any surgery to fix that shoulder. So, he couldn't really put in the zip on it. So I think that along with the fact that Rivers, even though he's older, he's familiar with the offense. But if Cam was healthy, I could see, okay, giving him a shot, because he's been active more recently. And I even heard one person say, why didn't anybody call Cap? And I'm like, man, y'all got to let that die, man. It's been 8 years. Leave it alone. It's been 8 years. Leave it alone. But yeah, but there's really not a quality quarterbacks out there that you could go and sign anyway. I mean, you think about it. Anybody who's some good is on the roster. I was listening to somebody. It was the Cleveland Browns safety guy. He was saying, why didn't the Browns make a trade to the Colts and send them, make a trade to send them one of their quarterbacks or whatnot? And I'm like, okay, that's why everybody doesn't need to be talking about sports. Doesn't need to be talking about football. The trade deadline has been over. There's no trade that can be made.
Yeah, if that was the case, I believe Jameis's name would have been
right
before Cap Rooney Rivers.
Yeah, but so I think that was probably the best they could do to get him, because we don't know if Cam is healthy. And if Cam isn't healthy, he really can't help you. So I think it's going to be interesting to watch. I'm just going to sit back and see if Mr. 3000 winds up one hit short, or if he fans out.
That's a lot, man. Now, we're going to move on to a game, because I'm not going to do all of them. We're going to move on to a game that was a little bit more interesting for me. Monday night, Eagles versus the Chargers. It was a defensive battle, boy. I mean, if you stayed up for that game and watched all that back and forth. Now you know what? Did they play, was it a defensive battle, or was the offenses playing that bad? You had that what it was? Like we got a broken wrist, and then he had a sprained wrist, I should say.
Yeah.
And
a sprained wrist and a sprained quarterback.
And a sprained quarterback. Then we got, I don't know, Jalen Hurts, was he colorblind? I'm trying to figure out what was going on.
Looking like Vinny Testaverde against Penn State.
I'm telling you, looking like Vinny Testaverde against Penn State. It was terrible. But my question about that game because the real question is, that is 4 straight losses? 3 straight losses, and it's beginning to look a lot like 2021?
20.
Yeah, 2023 when they had that downslide. Yeah. And I'm just asking you, Tank, can the Eagles make it back before the playoffs? Or are they
Yes, I
done?
think they can. I think they can because there's too much talent on that team for them not to make the playoffs. But it's going to come down to the coaches and the players come together, and there'll be a come to Jesus meeting with the coaches and the players. And they've got to get back to doing what they do best, because at this point they don't have an identity as far as on offense. The defense is holding up and doing its job for the most part, but the offense is just, they don't have an identity. And we talked about it a few times this season. They couldn't have been expecting Saquon to put up another 2,000-yard season.
Absolutely.
So I mean, 1,100 yards out of him should have been what you was expecting, and eight touchdowns. So last year was an anomaly. So don't be thinking, oh man, we should have gotten we should be getting what we got last year. No, you had a fresh, motivated, and inspired Saquon and a whole new offense and a bunch of talent around him to spring him. I think one of the problems is that they have, after who pulled his diva card the past 3 weeks, they decided that they made sure they got the ball to A.J. Brown so that he get his catches and his 100 yards the past 3 weeks and to get his
So the
touchdown.
offense still is nothing.
Yeah, and they haven't won since those 3 weeks. Like we talk about often, is it about the win or is it about your stats? You can have good and great stats, but if your team not winning, are you part of the problem, part of the solution? Now, Hurts, his issue is, I'll tell you what I
I
want
almost
to see
won
from
with 4
Hurts.
interceptions in the
Yeah.
stat category.
Yeah, including the 2 turnovers on one play.
Right. Excluding
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I think Hurts, and everybody's different, but really, I'm sorry. They say, won't say I'm calm and collected. I don't get too high. I don't get too low. This is what I see every time I see Hurt, especially after they lose, but even during the game, he has this look. He always just looks like this. I need some fire and brimstone out of my quarterback, especially when things aren't going right. You need to show me that you are into this and this game means something to you, and you need to impart that among everybody else. Even if it's outside of your nature, you need to do that. You can't tell if they won or lost the game afterwards, either in a press conference or the camera right in his face right after the game. You never know if they won or lost. And that's not what I call a poker face. That's just somebody who seems like he's disconnected and not in a good way. And yes, people say, oh, but last year, this, that, and other, and it's not saying that he can't play quarterback, but we are seeing some things of why he wasn't a first round pick, because people were mad because they were saying when he went to Oklahoma, he did all this. Now, you had Baker and you had the other quarterbacks come from Oklahoma and working under him going in the first round. Why didn't he go? Because he is limited as a passer. He just is. He's more short and medium. He's not a deep threat. He's not a guy who's going to be chunking it deep all the time. He can do things, but he's not. He's got to have other elements working for him.
Like a defense where that they'll allow that, But once you figure it out,
he's got to adapt. I mean, so he needs to take control of that team also, and he needs to show them, hey, we're going to get this done. They need to get to where they have an undeniable belief that, oh, well, he's under center for us, so that means we're going to win. You've seen some quarterbacks, they have that. Others don't. I don't see that from him this year. I don't see it from him this year. I don't think that the coordinator is sure what to do, because he's not getting super performances out of the offensive play, out of skill players like they did last year. It's like, wait a minute. You had these double 1,000-yard receivers, and you had a 2,000-yard rusher, and you had a quarterback with double-digit push touchdowns and all that. We don't have that this year. What do we do now? It's like, okay, y'all, you're not Superman right now. You Clark Kent, but Clark needs it. Okay, or you're not Batman right now. So you don't have real superpowers, but you got intellect. You need to be able to use that. And they aren't using that. They aren't doing that. We tried to hit you. We tried to hit them hard and it didn't work. So now what? So yeah, I think they can make it back because there's too much talent on their team to do it, but it's gonna be rough for them if they make it playoffs. And they do have even if they're behind, but because of how they're playing, because of the Eagles on this losing streak, they do have Dallas breathing down their neck. So
Right.
maybe that will be what spurs them on to win the division. But otherwise, this looking like 2023 again.
Let me tell you something. A wise man once said in 1978, in 1985, in 1986, in 1993, in 1994, in 2000, in 2002, and was it 2016 Broncos won?
15.
2015, 2016 was the Super Bowl. Defense win championships. That wise man said that based upon those teams that I mentioned. And you go look up those years and what teams those were. Heard it too many times. But the truth of the matter is, defense puts you in better positions to win championships. Offense has to score.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the truth. And you got to put some points up in order, because the defense is, and I'm saying that because the Philadelphia defense can win them some games, but can they win them a championship? I don't think so. I think them boys can buckle down and play when they get ready to play, but you're gonna meet up with an offense that has more than you are producing. And your defense is just not one of those years I named that will allow you to have people on the internet in the comments saying, but defense wins championships. No, defense
Gives you a
put you in a
chance to
better
win.
position to win a championship. Offense still got to score some points. It's the truth.
And I let you go. You remember what Cam said this year before the season started about Hurts and now it's looking like that.
And it was looking like, hey, but you know what? Hurts can go off and have a good game, because I'm going to answer the question. Can the Eagles make it back before the playoffs? Yes, they can. And the reason I'm saying that is schedule. I don't even want to talk about my boys, but at the end of the day, they simply have an easier schedule to win the division and make it back. Raiders, the Giants of the West. Raiders, Washington, Bills, Washington. Come on now.
Well, the Raiders are starting the great Kenny Pickett this week.
I mean, shoot. That like starting Kenny G.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Kenny Pickett is like the second coming of Cliff Style. I'm sorry.
I mean, like, golly, it's and maybe those guys will play their best football, but you can't be hoping for that. So I'm going to say Buffalo looks like the game that they could lose, and that's still arguable. They could win it. But the rest of them,
they should pull it off.
The offense that they have played, how Jalen Hurts plays, even if it's questionable, because I believe, and I'm going to go off what you're saying, I believe Cam's comments at the beginning of the season are just like the comments when you talk about that. Cam's comments are based on when you play the Buffaloes and you play the San Diego. You all defend Jalen Hurts when he plays the Raiders and Washington. And I don't like that, because that's different. And he did make that run. He made his run, 2 MVP efforts in the Super Bowl, winning one. The Chiefs don't have a historic defense
at all.
Spagnuolo just calls some good stuff, but they don't have a historic defense, so that was hyperbole too. But I will say they have a schedule that can get them back to the playoffs. So I'm going to say, from the schedule standpoint, they look to be okay. I don't see anything that could have me believe that'll be anything other than that. Now, I'm going to say this as we go into we getting close, man. Right over the second hour. Please follow and subscribe to No Jazz Show on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on TikTok at NOJASSSHOW. We are on Instagram at THENOJASSSHOW. The No Jazz Show. Please go join our Facebook group, No Jazz Show. NOJASSSHOW. We're on TikTok, Instagram, X, and we don't know why they call it Twitch, but we're on that too. We are on that too. Now, I'm going to ask, because I'm tardy for the party, and if I'm missing something, Tank, bring it up. But do you have a twin for this week?
Yes, I do have a twin for this week.
Tank got a twin for this week. All right, we are going into the twin section, and that is this week's impact player excuse me, I'm so sorry. That's TWIP. This week's impact name, and that is
TWIP.
where if you have never heard of Twin, that is where we take a player from this past week's game and we identify their DNA and the way that they play with a player of yesteryear. You know, it could be recent past or the past. However, because everyone knows of all the superstars and they always get the accolades, we at No Jazz like to make our twin a player for whom made an impact, but he's a forgotten name as the years go by because his highlights didn't make it that far. So to begin, I'm gonna go with Tank's twin. Tank, go ahead and give us your twin.
All right, my twin for this week is for this week, the modern era playing now is defensive end Willie Anderson from the Houston Texans. Willie brings the funk, man. I gotta give him. He brings the smoke. He's helping to lead that defense to being number one in the league. I'll tell you, that defense is suffocating, and it reminds me of the Baltimore Ravens in 2000 because they got people all over who are just doing a job, and they got one great one. They had one great one in Ray. They had another who you had two. You had Woodson, but now
Wilson.
you got Willie Anderson, and you've got his running mate on the other side. I can't remember his name, but Anderson is all over quarterbacks, and he wreaks havoc. Tackles for losses, pressures, knockdowns, pursuit. He is definitely a great first round pick for them, and he's panning out. Now, the player he reminds me of, because he's a big guy, he's quick, he's fast, he's strong, and he knocks quarterbacks out. But he didn't have a long run for a few reasons. And he knocks quarterbacks out, and you might say that when he hits you, it was lights out. That's Sean Merriman of the then San Diego Chargers, who was up and coming. I thought he might have ended up in Canton one day. His first 3 seasons in the league, double-digit sacks, and he was a terror. And he had the injuries, he had the steroid thing, and all of that. But he was fast, he was explosive, he was quick, he was strong as all get out, and you needed to be concerned about him on every play. So, and those two played. One's a DN, the other's an outside backer. But these days they're almost like one and the same. They're edge rushers. So, but his playing style and what he does and what he brings is what it reminds me of what Sean Merriman would do. So those are my twins for this week.
Absolutely. So that is good. We have Will Anderson. I was over there studying. So who was it? Will Anderson and who?
Will Anderson and Sean Merriman.
And Sean Merriman. You know what, man? I'm gonna tell you something, boy. I'm glad we could bring Sean Merriman's name back because he had after football some off the field stuff that kind of clouded his name. So I'm glad we can bring him back. Now I'm about to say something funny for my twins.
Okay.
My twins are like a tandem. No, they aren't like a tandem. They are a tandem. And this game was so irrelevant, but it was 34-10. Miami beat the Jets. It was an old school game. It had the nostalgia. And I saw Jay Wright and David Achane. One was 24 for 107, one TD. Achane was 7 for 92. Almost got 100. 13.1 average for one TD. Had a longer 39. And it reminded me of it kind of reminded me of the 80s, but it reminded me of the 80s of what they did. But the tandems that they did were from the 70s. And I think he's already been a twin this season. But maybe both of them, or maybe they got honorable mentions. So hopefully they got honorable mentions and didn't make it, but they have made it. So the people that they reminded me of is Mercury Morris and Tony Nathan in the backfield at the same time.
Okay.
So I made those two my twins for this week. I haven't decided which one. I might give precedence to Jay Wright. I guess this is the first we've had a triplet.
Yeah.
We had a triplet from you.
We had a triplet. Yeah.
I guess I had to do a quadruplet. So my twins
they're co-joined.
Exactly. Co-joined are Jay Wright, David Achane, because they remind me of the tandem and what they did this week against the Woolly Jets. I'm just trying to give a game some credit, man. Coach Nathan and the late great Mercury Morris. You about to say something?
I'm sorry. At the end of this season, Aaron Glenn should fire himself and just go and be a coordinator somewhere else, because he took a terrible job for a terrible organization. I understand he played there. That was going back home. But, man, sometimes you just got to leave. You got to leave the familiar and go elsewhere, man. He did, because by the time that team has some promise, they're going to be firing him anyway.
They're going to be firing him anyway. Exactly. So now we are going to give our cheers for, I'm so sorry, our twins for this week. Will Anderson of the Houston Texans, who is twins and has the same DNA of Sean Merriman. And J. Wright, David A. Chain, who have the same DNA and are twins with the great Mercury Morris and Coach Tony Nathan. Give it up for our twins for this week as we move in to the final countdown, baby. The final countdown. I got a question. And this could be easily a hit refresh moment if you want to make it that. But I'm going to use and the jump. And the jump. And the jump. I will say George Pickens' jump a week ago was nice. That was a good. But I like to see sports posters or movie posters if you want to. So if this is sports or if it turns into movies, or you can do both and it turned into a hit refresh moment. But I just wanted to know your best. Wait a minute. Oh, I can't go into that yet. I'm sorry. I can't go into that yet. Sorry about that. Because it was something. Because I didn't know if I was going to do it this week. Once the Eagles lost, because I was questioning whether I was going to do it. So before I get into that, what do you want your team to have for Christmas? What would be the greatest Christmas gift?
It will be. We need so much. Can it be something that you get for Christmas, but it doesn't come into effect till maybe a week or two to 2 weeks later?
See, that's why I was gonna wait,
because I know what I want. And we got what? Yeah, what we got? We got what? 12, 13 days of Christmas. So hey, let's give out one now. What I want is a playoff win. I want a playoff win for Christmas. We can get it. Hey, you tell us on 25th, hey, you're going to win a playoff game. Okay, I'm fine with that. But if we can't wait, if we can't do that, I want offense and defense to play to their full potential and click for the rest of this season and see what we got. That's what I want. Yes. I want everything that we've got to click on all cylinders and see what we do, how we match up.
I want two things. Yeah, because I want two things. Yeah. Counting what's already happened. And I don't know if I've been naughty or nice this year. And that might be a lot to ask for, but I was a spoiled child. Shout out to my mama. I was a spoiled child, so I could ask for multiple things, and multiple things probably would be under the tree. So I'm just going to continue with the consistency that my mom did. I'm going to ask this thing. And that is, I would like for the Eagles to lose 6 straight, counting the 3 they already have. And my other gift would be have the Cowboys win 4 straight. No, 8 straight or 7 straight. It'll be 7 straight. I want the Cowboys to win the last 4 games, week 1 of the playoffs, because they definitely gonna play week 1. Yeah, that would be so that's 4. Week 1 of the playoffs, then it would be a conference game, conference championship game, Super Bowl. So that's 8 straight. Yeah. I want the Eagles to lose 6 straight, counting the 3 they already have. They can win one of them. And the Cowboys win 8 straight games. I'm going to tell you, Rudolph just took off his nose.
And Santa just said, you ain't been that damn nice.
Santa said, you have not been that damn nice. He did. I know. But that's what I want for Christmas.
Yeah, well, you ain't getting that. You might get a lump of coal, but...
Boy, hey, matter of fact, give me the 8 straight games, and I won't even ask for the other one. But I need the Grinch to come in and steal 3 games from the Eagles.
Yeah, you're going to need it.
I'm gonna need that. But we are going to that's my list right now for this week. Santa, I might even have to minimize that list as the weeks progress, because it might turn into 7 games. Who knows? Make it a little cheap on you. Who knows? But at any rate, going into what I was gonna say as far as posters are concerned. Did you hang posters on your wall, Tank?
I hung posters. Then when I got to college, I had them all over the wall, particularly the Jet centerfold. But yeah.
Oh, you cut out page 33?
Yep.
Well, you were one of them ones. You cut out page.
Jet beauty of the week. Yep.
Yeah,
did.
yeah. You cut it out and you made a whole.
Yep. All over the dorm room.
Boy, y'all some wild boys. But the sad part about that is I would always find a reason to visit that dude's room too.
Yeah, we had people who did that.
Yeah. You know, let me borrow. Oh, okay, while I'm here. You know, but having said that, what is your greatest poster of all time? Sports or movie?
I don't know if I can come up with a greatest. I got some iconic that I think.
Okay.
This first one is you got to be of a certain age in order to remember this or in order to appreciate this. Farrah Fawcett in the red bikini with her blonde hair. And when she was on Charlie, when she came to fame, rose to fame with Charlie's Angels, and she was on the cover, she had a poster in a red bathing suit. It was a one piece. That poster set records. It sold over 1 million copies. Everybody had or went to look at that poster, and and especially by today's standards, it was extremely modest. You could see her legs, you could see her arm, and you could see her head. It was a one piece. That Farrah Fawcett poster is iconic. Now another poster that was iconic is what is her name? Oh, I don't want to do it like that. Started with the S, but the lady coming out with it said come back to Jamaica. She had on the black hair, wet black hair coming out the water with the red shirt. Man, I can remember it as though it was yesterday. With everything, she was Cindy, might be her name, but that one, come back to Jamaica. Those were the two iconic posters as far as the women go. Now,
all right, hold on. We getting back to the poster. We gonna get back to the poster because I'm gonna tell you why. He about to be mad at me. We going back to the poster. I'm gonna tell you why.
You gotta remember now, I was in elementary school at the time. Okay.
Oh no.
So is that. So yeah.
No. I'm not mad at you for saying Farrah Fawcett. Charlie's Angels, we know. Mm-hmm. But when you said that, it brought me back to something we didn't talk about and we need to discuss right quick.
Okay.
Notre Dame coach Sharon Moore.
You mean Michigan?
I mean Michigan coach Sharon Moore. We need to discuss. Hold on. After being fired, Michigan's coach Sharon Moore. Is it allegations?
No. Proof
of harassment from messing with one of his coworkers who just so happened to be
Pink Toe.
Farrah Fawcett. So, as much as we like to say, when y'all gonna learn? First of all, do you have any, anything you want to say about Mr. Sharon Moore, Michigan's coach?
Well, after he was fired, he was detained and he's been turned over to some other authorities. And I think it's because he threatened to kill himself, threatened to kill his wife also. And I mean, because I think he snapped, so it looks like he's probably on suicide watch,
right?
Because he's suicidal. So not gonna make light of that. But as far as the situation, it kind of makes me wonder. Okay, they said it came out and it was discovered 6 months ago, but now they just not acting on it after the season is over. Yeah, so it looks kind of messed up. But man, if it's spelled out in your dang handbook, your HR handbook, and in your contract, you can't mess around with the help. Why would you do it? And now you've been fired, and you don't have. I mean, because you were fired for cause, they don't have to pay. They don't have to pay you anything. $12 million up in smoke over some Poontang. I mean, it makes no sense. I mean, and then the picture that I saw of her, it's not even one of those things like where you can say, yeah, I would have risked it all too. There are times when you do something that stupid and you see who it is and you say, hell yeah, I might have folded too. This ain't one of those foldable moments.
So she wasn't Farrah Fawcett?
No, she wasn't even Kate Jackson.
You out here pulling an Emmy Udoka and she's not even Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, I mean, it was just bad. I think Harbaugh might hire him in the NFL, but I mean, it's just bad. It was just terrible. That was a terrible decision. When you do stuff like that, it's not even judgment. It's just your decision. You're married.
Emmy Udoka. Well, he wasn't married. He wasn't married, yeah. But he was basically married. Yeah.
Yeah, but you married. So that means when your wife finds out, as Eddie used to say, half. She's gonna tell you half. You can't, if she decides to leave. But I mean, it wasn't worth it on any level whatsoever. And I hope that more of these guys would start to think about things like that before they make a dumb decision. Because what it was dumb. I don't want to hear about none of the stuff that why he did it and this, that. No, it was dumb. At least get rid of your wife first. And then decide
Oh,
no, not
Tank,
not
at least get rid of
not
your
get
wife
rid of her,
first.
not get rid of her as in she's hoofs up or she's in Lake Michigan, but divorce her. And then but you still can't mess with the help, dude. It's in your contract, and somebody's gonna find out. Somebody's gonna open their mouth. She's gonna open her mouth.
Things don't go right. It's somebody gonna open their mouth. Absolutely.
She's gonna open her mouth.
You think anybody ever did a data? And I hope this don't go over the wrong way. But do you think anybody ever did the data on which race of women this happens to the most? Is this? I'm pretty sure it happened to all races of women, and women gonna look at it like a woman is a woman.
Yeah.
I'm just saying though, did this happen to one?
I think there's some unscientific data out there.
Does this happen to Farrah Fawcett more than it happened to Jane Kennedy?
I think there's some unscientific data out there that would support.
It gotta be. It has to be. And we need to report that data because they need to have like a workman's combine and that like they do with the rookies, the symposium.
Yeah.
This is what's gonna happen to you if you mess with the health.
$12 million.
Yeah. You need to throw you need to put Ume up there, put Shannon up there, that Alabama coach. Not Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama's coach did it. Urban Meyer did it.
I thought that was Ohio State.
It happened in Ohio State, but Alabama's coach, what's his name, did.
Yeah, he did it. Yeah.
This is what he did.
Put all these faces up in there.
12 million of these.
Throw it away.
Just flew out the window. So yeah, but hopefully he's able to bounce back, and hopefully if they've got him on watch to make sure he doesn't harm himself. Hopefully he doesn't harm himself and he comes back to his senses and says, wait a minute, this is not worth me harming myself or anyone else. And he can move forward. I mean, I got to make some better decisions, man, because that's just bad. It's bad business and everything else. Yeah, but those are my two posters as far as pertaining to women. And I'm gonna have to get that lady from Jamaica's
I was looking it up.
Yeah.
I was looking it up.
Just put woman from come back to Jamaica poster, woman or lady. And I'm
gonna tell you something. I'm looking at her and it got disco reggae and she got on a Jamaica shirt in the water.
Yeah.
I'm looking at her.
Yeah. That's her. Yeah. So those two. And then as far as sports posters, I'm trying to remember. I think my favorite one that I had, and it's crazy, but because I don't like the sport, but I like this team because they were different. My Harlem Globetrotters Metal Lark Lemon poster. That's because he autographed it for me.
That's what's up. All right. And my favorite poster ever, I'm going to do a sports. Golly. Wow. Yeah, I think I like this one more than I like him. But Walter Payton had a poster, man.
Kangaroos, yeah.
Kangaroos, and he had a wide leg step going with nobody around him, but it like he was about to make a fake. That poster was so hard to me. That poster was hard.
Yeah.
And we talking about in the era where you just love posters. That poster was hard. And outside of sports, I mean, Michael Jordan is easy. I'm outside of sports, man, I'm going to do one. It's a 1A, 1B, I'm going to do one. I actually bought this too.
Mm-hmm.
The Back to the Future poster.
Movie posters used to be
the movie
big.
poster, like the one coming out of the DeLorean, Marty and Doc.
Yeah.
That poster was a hard poster. And that was when the movie theater would actually let you, they'll sell them at the end of the theater or whatever. So that was a cool poster. So that was cool for me. That was definitely a poster I like in this hit refresh moment. So anybody in the chat, if you all have some posters, put them in the chat. Let us know. Let us know how you feel, whether it's sports, Jet Beauty of the Week, or pinup.
The Vanity 6 and the Apollonia 6 picture out of the album. Yeah, that was on the wall, boy.
Yeah, them was on the wall, boy.
I remember
Yo,
when I bought the Apollonia 6 album, I was what, 8th grade. But I brought that thing home. I spent my $10.99 on the album because the album wasn't good. It's not like they had vocal ability. I bought it strictly for the visual. I got home. My mama took one look at that album. She said, I know exactly why you bought that. It ain't got nothing to do with the song. What's the name of the songs on there?
right.
I didn't know none of them. But I had that poster because when you pulled it out, you had all three of them on the back, the words on the front of the poster, on the jacket, and on the back of the jacket, it was a picture.
You know what? I'm about to sneak this hit refresh moment in. We about to hit the refresh button because of what you just said. I'm gonna sneak this one in. We are hitting the refresh button because he said Vanity 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vanity 6 also had Prince also had Apollonia 6, right? All right. There are many, and I don't like the argument because I like to say y'all arguing Prince and Michael Jackson, but the true argument to me is Prince and Rick James
Mm-hmm.
because of the overall writing and instrumental talent that they had and the way they took their, and we've discussed this before, the way they took their musical talents and could put them in other people and make hits. But I want to ask you this. There are a lot of people who will put Prince over Rick James, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Prince is probably, because you just said it, the album wasn't good. Prince is probably in a line of making girl groups. They probably put Prince over Rick James. A lot of people put Prince over R. Kelly. A lot of people put Prince over Keith Sweat. But Apollonia 6 and Vanity 6 are at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Jane Girls, Changing Faces, Total, not Total, but
J5.
not J5, the girl group.
Yeah, J5. That was the one because one of them married to Ronald.
J5, okay.
That was the one that R. Kelly did.
R. Kelly did J5. R. Kelly did Changing Faces. R. Kelly did Keith Sweat did
Keith Sweat did Changing Faces. Cut Close, yeah.
Keith Sweat did Cut Close. Rick James did Mary Jane Girls. Prince got Apollonia and Vanity 6.
Vanity.
Who was the best out of all of them?
Oh, I thought you were gonna throw an honorable mention because Michael Jackson had Brownstone.
Mike had Brownstone?
Yeah, they were on his label.
But he made them.
I don't know how much he had to do with making them, but they were on his label. And, it ain't like we got a lot of people who was on MJJ Records. So they tell you.
It's true.
They was,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I'm not going to even mention the other dude. He's just making too much news right now. I said it. I said it when I was saying it. I said it. But I'm not going to mention him. So who was the top female group made? I'm going to throw Mike in there. Who is your top female? Hold on. Do we give Smokey the Supremes?
No.
We don't give him. Okay.
No.
I'm just making sure. So top female group made by or spawned from a top and no chat. No.
Yeah, I know what they're going to say.
Babyface does not count because he had a lot of solo hits for women.
Mm.
I don't remember Babyface having a group though. Well, he made TLC a hit, but he didn't make TLC.
Yeah, Pebbles.
That's Pebbles' responsible. Yeah. Come on now, she got a doggone dunk.
All right, now if you gonna include them, because I thought we were going. I was like, okay, I see where you're going to East, but none of these were super groups that you mentioned. But if we're gonna throw a TLC in there, you got to throw Foster and McElroy in there for En Vogue.
That would be number one.
That's number one.
Hold on.
And Foster and McElroy was from Timex Social Club.
Okay.
And Club Nouveau.
And Club Nouveau. Okay, so now they might be number one.
Yeah, they number one.
En Vogue. If you put Foster and McElroy in it, and you give them Timex Social Club
and Club Nouveau.
If y'all don't remember, y'all know Jealousy. I'm not gonna do that, but anyway. En Vogue. I don't know. Hold on. I got one. They ain't gonna be En Vogue though.
No, they ain't gonna be. I know who you gonna say, but they ain't gonna beat them.
Who I'm gonna say?
Escape.
I wasn't gonna say him.
Jermaine Dupri
is his own artist. Yeah, they ain't gonna beat En Vogue. They ain't gonna beat En Vogue. But you know who I was gonna say? You know what? Jermaine Dupri can get Silk Time Leather in there too, because Silk Time Leather really was TLC before TLC. But
that's not no.
I'm gonna give my man some props.
Okay.
I'm gonna give MC Hammer his props for Old Town 357. which means I might have to give NWA their
No, you're
props for
reaching.
JJ Fad. Come on now.
Old Town 357, no. They have a song.
Ain't
JJ
nobody
Fad.
In Vogue. But who? Okay. In Vogue, most definitely number one. Foster McElroy,
Yeah.
y'all win it. In Vogue, number
Yeah.
one. Close.
See, when you get to these others, all these other special ones you came out with first, you're really picking the best out of the worst. But that's like, okay.
In Vogue, way up here.
Yeah.
In Vogue,
Like
In
I
Vogue,
would,
way up there.
because you had left it. If we had left it where it was at first, I would say Mary Jane Girls because they got two songs. They got two classics.
At first, it was Rick James beating out Prince, beating out Rick James, but Prince can't produce a women's group like Rick James could. Mary Jane Girls,
They got two classics.
Definitely. Mary Jane Girl, who did Climax?
They formed themselves. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But Mary Jane Girl were most definitely better than any six that Prince ever did.
Yeah.
Argue with your mama. Y'all know it. So if I leave it right there, that's where I'm leaving.
Mary Jane, yeah.
Right. But when you stretch it out,
it's In Vogue, and that's it. And then for Impact and all of that, no, he never sang though. I was gonna say the Supremes because of Impact and all that, but that was Berry Gordy, and Berry didn't sing, so he's not. He don't count.
He didn't make.
Right. And well, he brought him out, Maurice White with the Emotions, but they didn't have like a whole bunch of hits. But they are lasting. So In Vogue wins regardless. But
you know the strange part about what we talking about? Shout out to this movie coming out in 2026. And we just stretching this thing out. Joe, I wonder if Joe ever, because it seemed like that would have been the progression. Joe putting Reby, LaToya, and Janet into something that could have, and Janet would have been that.
Yeah, but Reby got the heck on, before Reby. She was on the show. She was on the reality show for a little bit. Then she left and got married. LaToya.
Reby was just too.
Yeah. Reby was the best voice. We know what Janet became. LaToya. Yeah, LaToya.
That's crazy that they never had.
Yeah, but they did something. You could have put the three of them together to try to do something.
Because it wasn't like he was caring about the age gap.
Yeah.
Because Jackie was much older than Mike and Randy.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't gonna Randy no. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
And I'm using hindsight 20 because
that's it.
That is like for real, like because young Janet was a very talented little girl. Maybe he didn't want his little girl playing around like that, having seen what the industry could do to you, and he let her have. That's very interesting. Now we gotta look up the age gap. But at any rate, In Vogue is tops. And if you don't know Foster McElroy and you don't know Time 8 Social Club and Club Nouveau, please go look them boys up. That's something serious, man.
Mm-hmm.
That is something serious.
You can find out something about rumors.
I don't need. Look at all these
rumors.
For real. There's so many rumors going on between 50 Cent and Marlon Wayans right now. But at any rate, you got any last words?
Hey, no last word. Me and KD, we just trying to make sure we don't end up with a reckoning documentary and get 50 mad at us.
But that is a petty dude. That's a petty dude, man. That's a petty dude, boy. Marlon, for real, man. Like, use your team, use your family, because, dude, I'm not saying you can lose either. I'm just saying, dude is a mechanism. Like, he ain't gonna stop. Go get y'all. The Wayans family is pretty big. Go into your. I know it's been a long time. Go into your In Living Color bag. Go find that. Saying, go ask the young kids who kind of grew up softer than y'all. Go that dude don't stop. That dude, and I think he got behind him too. That boy.
Yeah,
he is a fun one.
Devious.
Yeah, devious. But at any rate, this has been the No Jazz Show. NOJASSSHOW. I have been your host, KD, along with my right hand man, Tank. It's been a wonderful show. Make sure you go follow us, like, subscribe, share, comment, leave us emails at NOJASSSHOW@gmail.com. Make sure you follow us on TikTok at NOJASSSHOW. Make sure you follow us on YouTube, and we've been putting that up and subscribe on YouTube at the No Jazz Show, NOJASSSHOW. We are also on Facebook, No Jazz Show. We are also on Instagram at the No Jazz Show. What am I missing, Tank?
TikTok, Twitch.
TikTok. I ain't say TikTok, Twitch, all No Jazz Show, hottest going show in podcasting right now. And again, thank you to all of our sponsors, Light Snack, Magic City Wings, Quick Visits, and since I got props, Virgin Brazilian Hair. I want to sing Soul Glow, but this ain't that. But anyway, thank you all for joining us. It's been a great show. Tank, do what you do to these people. Give them that salute. And we are. You just watched another episode of No Jazz. Follow us on YouTube at No Jazz Show. And make sure you hit us up on Twitter at No Jazz Show. Make sure you hit us up on Instagram at noj.a.s.s. Follow us on Facebook on our Facebook page at No Jazz Show. All right? See you soon.